Honorable Pastor Dennis Council Committee.
Thank you for being here tonight. At this time, I call Pastor Rod Schrader, pastor of the Gospel Tabernacle Baptist Church in Tullahoma, to come forward and have our invocation. Please, thank you.
Let's pray together. Father, we thank you for your work in our lives. Father, we thank you for these folks that are gathered here tonight. Lord, as these men and women handle our county government, we would ask, Lord, that they would have your wisdom. Father, I pray that the things that are said and done tonight would be right, they would be helpful, they would be beneficial, and they would be pleasing to you. Lord, we're going to ask your blessing because we need your blessing. We pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Pastor. Sheriff.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you, Pastor, for coming in the invocation. At this time, we'll have a roll call, so if everyone would please sign in, check in. Dr. Spears is home east. 21 present. Thank you. Got a full commission house tonight. So glad you're all here. At this time, I'll ask for a motion to approve our agenda. The revised agenda. Motion is second by Commissioner Jackie Duncan. Discussion? There being none, let's vote, please. With that one item off, I appreciate Commissioner Jones bringing that to our attention. So that's added on to that. Thank you. This time I'll entertain a motion for approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
Motion by Rosemary Crabtree. Second by Kimberly Martin. Discussion? Okay, there being none, let's vote, please. Thank you. For item 7, resolution of memorial, sympathy, and commendations. Tonight we have a special commendation. So I'd like to read this. When it comes to family, that's important to us all. And tonight we're going to recognize that precious 7-year-old as a hero. And on July the 10th, her grandmother, Debbie Davidson, I hope I'm right on all this, passed out. And this young lady, Alyssa Davidson, called 911 and gave them the address of where to come. And when the EMS got there, she showed them where her grandmother was. And as she had locked the dogs in the bedroom so they didn't interfere with the paramedics. Now that's awesome. She remained calm, and then called her dad and let him know what was going on, and then called her mom to come get her so we could all go to the hospital together. So that's precious. This was in Tullahoma, and I'd like to ask this young lady, because she and Alan Lindley, Alan was involved in this, will come forward, and we want to present to her from the Coffee County Emergency Management Agency A certificate of appreciation is hereby granted to Alyssa Davison for outstanding bravery in a vital situation, awarded this day, November 14th, 2017. So she's here. It's my honor to present this to her. You're nine. Like for a better story. It's an honor for you to be here tonight, and thank you so much for your heroism and protecting your family. Okay? God bless you. He messed up, the mayor messed it up. Make a good story anyway, but we've got the whole family here, so we're honored to have you. You folks can stay as long as you want. Anytime you need to go home, you can do that. I'm not going to encourage you to leave, but we're up to stay for the full meeting. But if she needs to get you home for supper, you're welcome to. But we're glad you're here. Okay, Roxanne?
Number 8, elections, appointments, and confirmations. A, notaries.
I'll be glad to make a motion to approve the notaries listed on our report.
Motion by Rush, second by Mr. Walker. Discussion? Thank you folks for being here. We're honored. Discussion? There being none, let's vote please.
Does anyone want to change their vote?
Okay. Thank you.
8B, constable seats, 7 districts, 17, 19, and 20. And that's the Tullahoma caucus.
Do we have a recommendation from Tullahoma Caucus?
I would like to make a recommendation of Mr. Carl Wilson. He is retired from the state system. He's worked in law enforcement all his life. He's also my neighbor and a great guy.
I think it sounds like you support him then. Good. So we'll take that as a motion. We have a second motion. Second by Tim Stubblefield. Questions? If not, let's vote please. And I appreciate Mr. Wilson's willingness to serve in this very important position. Thank you, Mr. Wilson. He has a good resume too, I've seen him. Appreciate you being here.
Anyone want to change their vote? When you're here.
Thank you.
8C, constable seat 5, districts 11, 12, and 13. This is a rule.
Mr. Chairman, the Rural Caucus would like to nominate Mr. Kenneth Spry.
Okay. Thanks, Robert. I'll take that as a motion. Second to the motion?
I'll second that.
Missy with a second to that motion. Discussion? There being none, let's vote please. Appreciate Mr. Spry's willingness to serve. And we had 2 good applications from the county, Mr. Hines and Mr. Spry, and I appreciate both their willingness to serve.
Anyone want to change their vote? When you're here.
And Mr. Spry served as a constable before and worked at the Richmond Scott for years and chief of the volunteer fire departments.
8D, water and wastewater authority.
Mark?
As chairman of the Water and Wastewater Authority, we feel very fortunate to have 2 excellent nominations tonight. The first one is Max Haley. He lives in Tullahoma. He's retired from UTS as director of UTSI out there, Missouri, as director of the engineering management program out there. He has a PhD in engineering. And he's very interested in trying to help us out and give us his engineering background, which is required to be a member of the authority. And the other, I guess we can do them both at the same time?
Yes.
The other nomination is a native of Coffee County, Emily Howes. She's, I want to call her a young lady because she's the same age as my daughter, so I feel like she's young, but she's a very elegant lady that's very accomplished. She graduated in accounting from David Lipscomb. She grew up here. She has done a lot of internal auditing experience, and she's currently a financial analyst for a public trading company. In addition, she's also running this next term as a county commissioner for District 8. Thank you. And she'll be running on the Republican ticket. So she's very interested in trying to, as a young person, get involved in our community, and I really appreciate her. And she is here with her husband Greg tonight. So just wave, Emily, thank you. And I really appreciate you willing to serve on this committee. So those are the two nominations.
We appreciate your folks willing to serve, and I'll accept that as a motion. Okay, have a second to the motion? Second by Diane Hargraves. Good discussion. There being none, let's vote please. And I appreciate your willingness to serve.
Anyone want to change their vote?
Thank you. Thank you.
8E, IT Committee.
Our IT committee has not met in years, and we have a couple of very important reasons to be convening that, and tonight I wanted to restructure that a little bit, and I'd like for the commission to approve these individuals as serving on that committee. Of course, the mayor by virtue of the office serves there. Mariana Edinger, representing the county in budget and finance. And Cindy Reagan, our IT professional, she will serve by virtue of her office as a non-voting member. We thought that might be voting, but checked today, and legally that's got to be non-voting. Frank Watkins, representing the Sheriff Department. Mark Kelly is Commissioner. I didn't ask him in advance. I'm hoping, Mark, you will stay in that role. I'm assuming so. And Dr. Russell Baker. He's not a medical doctor, but he has a lot of experience and knowledge in this field, certainly as it relates to cyber security, and that's one thing we're really concerned about. So, and also Andy Barrett, representing the Purchasing Department. So I'd like to submit that block to you for the commission to approve those names as submitted. You have a motion to accept?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve it.
Motion by Major. Do I have a second? Second by Jackie Duncan. Discussion? There being none, let's vote please. And as you know, we're working on redoing our website. And the launch date on that is January the 3rd or 4th of January, January 4th. And then this committee will be meeting to review cybersecurity and other issues. Very timely, very important.
Anyone want to change their vote?
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
8F, Judicial Commissioners.
Okay. Our law enforcement committee has met and recommended the following. We have for 3 full-time positions and 3 part-time positions. Mr. Bobby Trail, Jim Hatfield, and Bob Bellamy as full-time judicial commissioners, and General George Walker, Ronnie Gray, and Frankie Floyd as 3 part-time. They will be filling in. The full-timers will be working, essentially manning that office 7 days a week. The part-timers will be filling in for vacation or sickness or on holidays for those 3 full-timers. And that's presented a recommendation from law enforcement to the mayor, and I support for approval. We have a motion to accept?
Motion to accept.
Motion by Tim Stubblefield, second by Missy. Discussion. There being none, let's vote please.
Public Building Authority.
We have a vacancy from the Tullahoma area on the serve on the Public Building Authority, and we have a recommendation from the Tullahoma Caucus. Rush?
Yes, sir. The Tullahoma Caucus would like to nominate a great civic leader and business person, Greg Sadler.
Okay. And he's here tonight. Thank you for being here, Greg. Thank you, Rush, for that, for y'all reviewing that last night. So I'll place that name in as a nomination from the Tullahoma Caucus, representing the public, or to the PBA. You have a motion? I'll take that as a motion. We have a second. Second by Kimberly Martin. Discussion? Okay, let's vote, please.
Anyone want to change their vote?
Thank you.
1 minute.
Thank you.
There being no other elections, appointments, or confirmations. Number 9, unfinished business. We have none. 10, new business. Resolution 2017-31. Resolution authorizing the dates of January 9, March 13, April 10, May 8, June 12, June 26, July 10, September 11, and November 13 as the appointed meeting dates of the Coffee County Commission for the year 2018.
Have a motion to accept or to approve? So moved by Warren Walker. Okay. Second by Todd. Discussion? There being none, let's vote, please.
Anyone want to change their vote? 1 minute.
On 10B, before we read the resolution, we have tonight with us from representing Ben Longman, Mike Birdwell. And Mike has met with us different times and no stranger to coming by here. And I'd like to ask him to come forward and very quickly, Andy's going to pull up some slide presentation he's got. But before we do that, I would like to announce something, two items I feel good about tonight. I wanted to announce to the commission and to the assembly that sometime back in the spring, Mike and they did a lot of legwork out in the Pocahontas area and had meetings there and so on, and in support of a $1.5 million federal grant application. And I just want to report to you tonight that $1.5 million federal grant application has been approved. So that will help our At this point, I'll turn this over to, well, before I do that, let me mention one other thing, not with that, but I would like to mention to our commissioners that this year, we did not have to have a tax anticipation note, as we've done for forever, yes. And so I thank the commission and our team for the management we have, and we have to do that every year so that we have money to make payroll in July and August and September, but our financial position is improving some, and I want to thank all our commissioners and all for your leadership and support of that. So I just want to mention to you that we did not have to have a tax anticipation note this year, so thank you for that. So this time, Mike, I appreciate you coming.
Mr. Mayor, are we on item E or B?
I'm out of order. Well, I got a little head of steam. I'm down, but
Okay, thank you.
thank you. I jumped the gun a little bit, so thank you. Is it okay if Mike goes ahead that I told you I could mess it up, it could be messed up, I would. Okay, at this time, Mike, item E, thank you. I thought Mike, you could sort of talk about building codes for a few minutes, so excuse me for jumping the gun a little bit.
I'd like to start off and say that I appreciate the commission, letting us come in and speak to you this afternoon. I want to back up to the grant that the mayor is speaking of too. Ms. Lisa Cope is our CEO, general manager and CEO of Ben Longman. Chad Dees, he's operations manager at Ben Longman. And I appreciate the mayor talking about me doing the legwork, but I'll tell you that we've got several managers at Ben Longman and about 120 employees that stand behind us, and without them, the grant would not have been possible either. So it was a it was a huge collaboration for the employees at Glen Lawton. And we had huge support from the residential folks out in the Pocahontas area. And we're going to be really proud to take broadband to that community. So that was huge for Glen Lawton and Coffee County. So one of the reasons that we're here this afternoon is to ask you to pass a resolution making Coffee County be a broadband ready community. So what that is, that's through ECD, Tennessee Economic Community Development out of Nashville. We are applying for another grant. This grant is also going to be in the Pocahontas area. And it's basically, there's a little bit that's going to be, most of it is going to be east of Maple Springs Road. And I'll be honest with you, I've seen some areas in Glen Lawton's territory and outside that didn't have access to broadband. I tell you now, these folks are in dire need of broadband. We went around and we did a lot of legwork and we did a lot of door-to-door. Several employees have been on, we did door-to-door. And when you go to a house and a lady tells you that she works in Murfreesboro, she drives home and instead of cooking supper for her family, she loads her kids up and brings them into Manchester to the library just so they can do their homework. And another gentleman tell me that they use their broadband just like their bank account. They get so much data per day so that they don't use it all up by the end of the month so their kids can do their homework. So there's a real need in this area, so by passing this resolution, making Coffee County a broadband ready community, when we apply for this grant, it's going to give us 10 extra points on our application. So that's kind of what the resolution is about. So I want to back up and give you just a little bit of history here, and you'll have to excuse me, I'm going to get closer to the screen to do part of it. Come on, Andy.
My computer just went dead. Sorry. We need broadband. It's going to take.
I would like to mention that Mike and Lisa and the team, they had a meeting out at Deerfield Elementary a couple of weeks ago, and in reference to applying for the grant. And anyway, I appreciate their support and the folks that showed up at that. And it's critically important. You can ask our school system, our teachers, and it's critically important, as he said. And I understand what a realtor had said, or someone had said that a family out there was selling the house, and the buyers, they were at the closing, I think I'm right on that, Mike, they were at the loan closing, and the lady buying the house asked the question, oh, by the way, do we have broadband here? They didn't have it. And they walked away from the deal at loan closing. I think I'm technically correct on that, Mike, so.
Yeah, and it's going to make an economic impact for Coffee County for several different standpoints. If you go back and you look at a lot of the surveys and research, especially with the realtors, if you've got fiber optic at a house, your house increases in value anywhere from $4,000 to $7,000. Broadband is today what electricity was in the 50s. You gotta have it. There's a lot of people that are working from home. I talked to a few out that way that they actually work at the banks, and they can do a lot of their work from home if they had broadband. So, there's a huge economic impact for your residential folks and for Coffee County by having broadband in the area.
Hey, Mike, what's the difference in broadband and DSL?
Okay, so, and that's part of one of the slides, if Andy don't get fired before he gets it back up.
We'll take care of it.
Andy's a great guy.
No pressure, Andy.
The one thing, the question about DSL and broadband. So, what the FCC has said is that they consider broadband, it has to be 25.3. 25.3. So that's 25 meg down, 3 meg up. That's what's considered broadband. It's extremely difficult to get 25.3 over copper or via satellite. So what the FCC has found out, or what they recognize, is in order for people to do their business at home, for their kids to do their homework, people to work from home, is that they're gonna have to have 25.3. Well, the unique thing that's going on with Bill Logan, what we're putting in is an active fiber network. It's not satellite, it's not GPON, it's an active fiber network. And it's one of very few networks that's built like this across the United States. And what that is with an active fiber network is you have your own fiber. You're not sharing bandwidth with anybody, and you can get up to a gig. So, you know, the limits on copper and DSL, you know, it's very small compared to what fiber is.
Mike, is this all on the ground or on the pole?
It's kind of a mixture. It just depends on where it's at, how much rock is there. Right-of-way has a lot to do with it, you know, depending on, you know, where we can get right-of-way. It may be just easier to get up in the air and go on the poles. And then a lot of places it'll be underground because, well, there's less damage when it's in the ground too.
Do you have boundaries in Coffee County? I know you're in Hillsborough, you come from the county.
Actually, this grant here is going to be through Bill Owen Communications. We've got a statewide franchise, so we can go anywhere in the state of Tennessee.
So you can come to Beach Grove, Gulf Coffee.
Now, Beach Grove is actually in our co-op, our island territory, so it's slated to be built in fiber next year in 2018.
If you had your choice, would you rather go underground as opposed to below?
Yes.
So you would explore that first then if you can?
Yes. I mean, obviously, Beach Grove, you know, we're probably going to be on the poles in Beach Grove. Okay.
Very shy.
Yeah. Yes. So the slide right before was Bill Owen's board of directors. So there's two directors from Coffee County. These directors are, man, they're super guys. They get out there and they really want what's best for the community. They want what's best for Bill Owen. Mr. Joe Roper, Roger Bynum, they are the directors for Coffee County. So these guys do a really good job. All right, so through ECD, this is a broadband study that the state did. So they wanted to know, they asked several questions in the survey, and these are just a few of them. What is the technical definition of broadband? According to the FCC, it's 25.3, 25 meg down, 3 meg up. How many Tennesseans do not have access to broadband? 835,000 people don't have access to broadband in Tennessee. What is the cost to bring broadband to Tennessee that they're not having? Now this is fiber to the premise, okay? $1.7 billion. What are the best practices and lessons learned for, I'll miss that word, broadband from around the country? Strong public leadership that champions broadband projects. That's you guys. That's you guys being proactive and doing everything you can to make sure that the residents of Coffee County have broadband. State broadband office or similar entity. Effective partnership. That's a partnership could be between Bill Owen and Coffee County, Bill Owen and Duck River, whomever that may be. Public seed funding and grant programs that encourage investment and build out transparency. So that's kind of what the grant process is through the state. And that's what we're applying for, this grant for the Pocahontas area. And proper planning and due diligence. That's you guys, that's Bill Owen. So this is really important right here. This is what the state and the federal has recognized. Fiber connectivity is the most reliable, the fastest and highly rated type of connectivity by significant margin, with cable, fixed wireless rated as the next best. DSL and mobile wireless perform at lower speeds with less reliability, while satellite and dial-up by far over half, 54% of households are connected to these lower performing connectivity types of DSL, mobile wireless, satellite, and dial-up. So that's the one thing that Coffee County is getting through Bill Loman is an active fiber network. This is not satellite, this is not copper, this is fiber. So the other thing is with the fiber optic, the technology may change on either end of it. But what we're being told right now is the fiber should be good for around 30 years. That's the projection. So once we get the infrastructure in place, the equipment may change on our end, it may change on the customer's end. But the fiber should be good for 30 years. So that way we don't have to do the upgrade. I think it's likely. So this is the Tennessee Broadband Accessibility Act. It's $45 million over 3 years through grants, tax credits that focus on the state's unserved areas. So the state has laid out $45 million over the next 3 years. $30 million in grants over a 3-year period, $10 million per year, to broadband providers to encourage development, deployment to unserved homes and businesses. These applications are due by November 17, 2017. The tax credits to private services providers totaling $15 million over 3 years, $5 million a year. So what that means is there's going to be $30 million, $10 million a year for the next 3 years. So imagine this, $10 million on the entire state of Tennessee. It's a $2 million maximum, and it's a 50% government grant. So if we put in this application and the project is $4 million, we get $2 million from the state, but now Bill Owens got to invest $2 million in it also. So we got skin in the game. So that's why we're coming to you and asking for this resolution to be passed, because we got to have the best application in the state of Tennessee. There's going to be a lot of applications going in. There's only $10 million. We got to have the best application in the state.
And 10 points are added to that by approval by the commission of this resolution.
Yes, sir.
I'm not able to talk to you, I found the name of the lady in charge in Nashville, and I sent our resolution to her, and she reviewed it, confirmed that it was consistent with the statute and qualified.
Mike, I appreciate your presentation on this. Any further questions of Mike? Appreciate you and Lisa and team for being here. And if there are no other questions, do I have a motion to approve the resolution? Motion by Kimberly, second by Diane Hargraves. Discussion. Okay. Technology is great when it works, but sometimes it doesn't last. Appreciate Andy doing all this. And I would mention I appreciate him talking with Ben Loman, and they're currently looking at our facility to see about the possibility of this next spring to get whatever here to the 20%.
Mayor, will you skip having to shoot your knees next day?
I know, I'm sorry. I have to find a hamburger tomorrow for lunch.
Actually, Cindy just said today we've got to replace this computer.
I appreciate what Andy and Cindy both do for the county. Hey, excuse me for skipping down to E rather. Just checking. Appreciate Mark bringing that to my attention. Does everyone need to check it again? They do. Speaking of needing five rebuilding. Everybody checking. Let's everybody checking again on another roll call, please. Everyone. Sign in again. I'll get y'all out so y'all can go home and eat supper tonight sometime. Appreciate your patience. There it is. Thank you. Okay. Y'all two y'all break out the popcorn in the back and ready to vote. Okay, let's vote, please. Motion is second. Motion was by Kimberly, I think. Second by Diane Argraves. Let's vote, please. For
This
discussion.
is 2017-33.
Does anyone want to change their vote?
Thank you, Commissioners. Thank you, team from Midland. Thank you.
Now 10B.
Thank you.
Resolution 2017-32, a resolution to adopt portions of the International Building Codes 2012 edition amending Resolution 2007-49 as amended by Resolution 2011-03.
Motion
It
to
says
approve.
2017-03, that's wrong.
Motion by approved.
Second.
Tim, second by Jackie Duncan. Discussion. Yes, sir.
I notice in this, it's I'll say a partial acceptance. There's some areas that we are ruling out. But one of those is getting rid of automatic fire sprinklers with a substitution of 2.5-hour firewalls.
Yes, sir.
That's been problematic across our communities in Middle Tennessee with fires over the last couple of years. And I'm just asking, is that a wise move to make? It appears to me that putting particularly in rural areas, putting sprinkler systems in would be a better choice.
It may well be better, and Tim can,
We're following suit, Martin, with the state of Tennessee.
right, they,
It's giving people an option of to do our firewall and sprinkler system. And like when you get out in some areas, the water flow out, you've got to pour in
Right.
the line for service. So you're.
so the state has approved, or opted out.
Because I asked that day, and he explained that the firewall goes from the foundation to the top, where it runs the roof. But knowing everything is that, we didn't swallow the do our firewall. Yeah, it's exciting.
Right.
There's been issues where usually they put the wall up and then they have a special boarding that they put on it, that gets penetrated, and once it's penetrated from one side, it pretty much ruins the fire rate.
But that's been thoroughly vetted in the planning commission process, and Aaron reviewed this extensively with the state, and the state has approved our opting out on that, but we do have to come up with 2012 standards on the items other than those that have been approved off-council.
I know there's pros and cons to all this, firewall, and I know what will happen to that firewall years from now. It's probably going to be breached. There's probably a hole in it years from now. We've done inspections where we've seen that happen. Until the state takes a stand and, says this is how it's going to be, you got to have sprinklers. I can see counties opting out, doing the same thing we're doing. But I strongly disagree with this. So, coming from where I work, I guess you can see why. We're talking about saving lives instead of saving money. That's where I come from. Lives mean more than money. So, that's my feelings toward it.
Thank him. He does work in fire department till home, and I understand that concern. And as Tim said, we've got a water flow and pressure problem throughout certain parts of the county, and we just don't have the water or the flow in some of those areas.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to encourage too that I understand the problem that we have where we may not have enough water flow because of small lines, and I know that the Rural Infrastructure Fund has done a lot of good stuff in getting water out to communities, and there are still problems in getting it everywhere we need it. But we really need to fix that problem so that we can upgrade our standards and provide a higher level of safety for people who are in the rural areas.
Totally agree, and I would mention and thank the Budget Finance for work through the $250,000 appropriation that will be being used to put more water flow out in the rest of the county. And that has talked with Scott St. John and Brian Pennington last week, and the plans have been approved for that, so they'll be starting on handing the purchase of that. They're beginning to view a copy of the inventory needs on the different size pipe and so on. And so very quickly we'll be purchasing some pipe to start with the very thing Mark was talking about in the West End County. Thank you, folks, for being long. Appreciate you being here. But that concern is duly noted, and I totally agree with that. Any other discussion?
Hey, Tim, what is the build up on a firewall? What's your disagreement? So build up of a firewall, what is it made of, construction?
Basically like your siding here, it's a sticker.
Drywall?
It's going to have like a 2-hour rating.
It's a different type of drywall.
It's a different type of drywall, resistant. It's going to have like a rating, like a 2-hour rating, 1-hour rating. But once you put it up, it's fine. I mean, it'll work fine once you put it in the ground itself. But once you put any type of hole in it, breach it or whatever, as long as it's solid, the ground is fine. It's going to hold that rating. But over time, things get punched through the hole or whatever.
People get in the roof area, and it's easier to drill a hole through than to run 2 systems up.
Totally understand.
Yeah, I mean, it's a type of drywall. It's a different mixture.
Any more discussion? The motion's been made and approved, or second. Let's vote, please.
Anyone want to change their vote? Yes, about to move.
Thank you.
10C, grant pre-application form for enhancement of computer and vehicle video systems to help improve traffic and DUI enforcement. It's from the Sheriff's Department.
Okay, this came from the Sheriff Department. Appreciate Frank putting this together. We have a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Tim, second by Diane Argraves. Discussion? There being none, let's vote, please.
anyone want to change their vote?
Thank you.
10D, grant pre-application for the Manchester Coffee County Conference Center for USDA solar panels.
Have a motion to approve? Motion by Major, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Warren Walker. Discussion.
Can you just be clear of the funding and the match on this? So 100% funding.
Good question. Other question or discussion?
Where is this going to be installed?
I do not know the answer to that question. Conference Center, I don't know. Mr. Teal was here earlier, he's gone. Don't know if it's been looked at on the roof or the side, I do not know.
It didn't appear they had enough room on the roof, but I'm not sure of that.
I'm not sure either. I think I was supposed to call that and did not check for on that. Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mayor,
Yes.
because it's still unclear, and I wish they were, because it says, to help offset the cost of the panel. If we're getting whatever the total dollar amount, 27,000, I certainly would like to know what the total cost would be, because we're going to share that cost. So,
Well, we asked her the question, and she said funded, zero match.
okay, I understand, and maybe the grant is not worded right when it says to help offset. I mean, if it said to cover the cost, would be much more clear statement.
Well, the funding percentage or match down there, I guess it's about the 6 or 7 line
I
down.
understand, I see that, but I also see the purpose.
Well, if you would like her to come back to
We should have covered this before the meeting. I'm probably listening. I'm glad to get me.
Any more discussion? There being none, let's vote, please.
Anyone want to change their vote?
Okay, thank you.
Budget amendments.
I have 2 budget amendments in consideration tonight. Both are actually fund transfers, budget transfers, excuse me. First one is for the general purpose school fund, number 141, 2018-1. And the second one is for the highway department, 131, 2018-1. Like I said, these are both transfers, require no funds from the unassigned fund balance. They were approved by Budget and Finance on November 7th.
A motion to approve the amendments by Commissioner Morris, second by Commissioner Stubblefield. Discussion? There being none, let's vote, please.
Anyone want to change their vote? Anyone in it?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, 10G, resolution.
Before we go into the resolution on 10G, we have 2 guests with us tonight, Sam Reed and Jeff Wayhoff. We're glad they're here with us tonight. And and they would like to address the assembly for just a few minutes and have a subscribe report that is looking in. So Sam and Jeff, appreciate you being here tonight, and this time we'll
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. Thank you, Commissioner, for having me this evening. Really appreciate you giving us the time. I realize it's late on a Tuesday, but we do appreciate the time. So, Jeff, that you know well, and I've been working for Jeff here for about the last year and a half. I've seen a lot of you, met with a lot of you. And again, Jeff's passing out a presentation will be on the board here. Like I said, we've been working closely with the Budget and Finance Committee. Really want to thank those members for their engagement over the summer. Particularly would like to thank Mayor Cordell for his leadership and guidance as we've sort of been working our way through this process. We have essentially a framework we believe that we can sort of work towards a final agreement here over the next couple of months. And we have a sort of I would say just a small step that we need to take tonight that will help us sort of lead towards coming back towards this full commission in January after we work individually with the Budget and Finance Committee on the final piece of our deal. But today I wanted to cover, with Jeff's help, sort of where we are at today in terms of the state of the Bonnaroo Festival, where it is that we would like to go, what we've been talking to the mayor and the commissioners about, and how we're going to get there. And then we'll take questions, and obviously we'll try to be speedy and respectful of your time. I'm going to hand it over to Jeff to this first part here about where we are today.
Where are we at today? That's a great question. Coming off of our previous year, 2016, I can say we had a rebound year. You know, I think we all are aware of the dip that we had, and we came back strong for 2017. Not only did we come back strong in attendance for 2017, we came back strong from a standpoint of attracting what we are calling our Generation Z. So if you're unfamiliar, Generation Z are the 18-year-olds that are now coming up and becoming buying power. You're 18 and then you're younger millennials. As you can imagine, they have different tastes. They have different cares, they have different wants, desires, but they are the new economy that is coming into play right now. And they are going to what's called the experience economy. They have less desires to go after BMWs and Mercedes, and more desires to go after experiences. And so for 2017 and even beyond, we are positioning ourselves to be that premier experience. With some reviews, the continued applause for going after amenities like bathrooms, the addition of our Bonnaroo Beach that we had out there, and various things. We are continuing to go after that experience that sets us apart from the thousands of other festivals that are across the United States today. With that, there are still thousands of festivals that are out there today in bigger cities and other places that are competing for that dollar. There are incentives coming from states and cities and counties to make it more attractive and less risky for operations to come to be there. But we are committed and we believe that we are still the gold standard. We are still setting the bar and we're the festival of choice for those fans to come out and to try something different. We're not a city festival. We are a full-blown experience that takes this city to be the 7th largest city in the state for one weekend a year, and we're very proud. As I mentioned before, we've added new things, the bathrooms, the showers, other planned amenities, the beach experience. We've put over $10 million into the property in the last 2 years. That's a large expenditure. It shows that, that we are committed here and we are looking to the future. We're about ready to celebrate our 17th year. There is no signs for us as long as we've got the commitment to continue for another 17 years. This is our business model. We plan to keep going with it. On top of our water line upgrades, the ARC grant, one of the first ones in ARC history of that type, we're committed. Great Stage Park is here, and with the investment of Live Nation becoming our partner, I think we're showing that we want to be more out there. And to take the economic impact, turn back to the same.
So those members of the Budget Finance Committee will be intimately familiar with this part of the discussion. And I want to give a particular thanks to Mary Ann and the Finance Department who's helped me pour over this. There's been a real sort of, I think, misconception or presumptions about what the economic impact is of Bonnaroo. And we've done our own studies, and there are numbers of $30 million impact to Coffee County, but those are sort of more macro numbers. And what I really wanted to drill down on for the purposes of our discussions, about our view of the county, was what is the true economic impact to the budget of the county of Bonnaroo, right? So what we've determined is, and these are numbers that have come out of the Finance Department. If you look at the last page in your documents that I passed out, those are actually the sales tax numbers that come straight from the county. And what we see is what we've determined is there are two big buckets, and we sort of track this through the Tennessee Department of Revenue all the way through to the Coffee County coffers. And essentially, the first big bucket is on tickets sold. So for every single ticket that we sell for Bonnaroo, we pay a Tennessee state sales tax that goes to the local rural Coffee County budget. So the local share, the 2.75 of that goes to the Coffee County budget. You can see here, we've got the last 5 years listed, and then you can see the budget years if you look at the backup. The sales tax on the tickets that's generated, you can see that in a really good year, that number is approaching 650, 700,000 in impact to the Coffee County budget. In a what we would consider a down year, the loser is obviously us at the festival, but the Coffee County budget too. A lower year of attendance has a significant negative impact on y'all's budgets. The other huge bucket of money that comes in to the county is the beauty of the Bonnaroo site for this governing body is that it sits entirely within the county and not within the city of Manchester. And so most everybody who's a guest of Bonnaroo stays on the Bonnaroo site, spends all their money on the Bonnaroo site. We have estimated that folks, it was a few years ago now, they spend about $83 a day when they're out there. They're out there for 4 days, based on about a $65,000 attendance, 65,000 attendance number, generates about 22 million in on-site sales, of which you all get, again, 2.75% of those reports. Now, Mary Ann and I are sort of committed to working together to making sure that the local vendors that are on the site, when they're pulling their local permits in order to be able to do the vending on the site, are also well aware of their tax reporting duties for this locale. So that'll be the first year that we also, when they get their permit, also get a letter that says, hey, here's how you make sure that you're remitting your local tax. So we make sure that all of those are remitted on time. For the most part, we've done pretty good, and as you can see, good Bonnaroo years means a good budget year for the county.
I would add on top of that, with the representation of the on-site sales, through our concessionaire, both food and beverage, we now actually utilize an electronic system. So it's something that we're able to keep track of. There is still cash out there, but more and more people who know are still utilizing their credit cards. So we're able to track those transactions in a more efficient manner to have numbers so we can specifically know almost from the festival ends whether or not what we're getting from each individual vendor. So that's just helping to improve the tracking to ensure that we are the proper amount of coming back. Cash is always the challenge, but when we know the majority is coming through electronic payment, that provides better tracking.
So yeah, this next slide, this is just a summary of what we just covered, but again, reiterating that the success of Bonnaroo is tied directly to the success of the Coffee County budget each year. We are really the key driver of sales tax. That number there at the top, 25%, that's of the sales taxes in rural Coffee County. Our little 4-day event represents about 25% of the sales taxes that are collected all year for rural Coffee County, which is amazing. So what we want to get across to the commission and to the public in our discussions is additional events will drive both additional ticket sales and on-site spending. So that's the impact of budget. We'll quickly talk about impact to the community, which you all, I know a number of people in this room have talked to me about a lot of the programs that they have availed themselves of, the local community groups, schools, athletic teams. But Bonnaroo Works Fund gives about $300,000 annually to mostly Coffee County-based recipients. I'm sure everyone in here knows someone who's been a recipient of that. We were responsible for some amazing programs throughout the year that were reflected in the community. And other program I think is worth noting is our vendor program, where folks go out and work the booths. A lot of the proceeds that are collected goes towards local charities. And there's also an ambassador program that allows a lot of folks in the community to be able to provide an experience at the festival themselves.
I think a key thing with remembering that fact that it outside of sales tax is you're looking at about $500,000 a year from those programs coming into the county. Those are outside dollars. So that means the bake sales, the candy drives, the car washes, every community group that is looking for money in some form or fashion. It has, I don't want to say has the potential, but there is that positive impact there. So that's either more money back in pockets of not having to support those, or we're now allowing that wealth to be spread to maybe other programs that we're not supporting, but now that are being supported by us, to have the ability to have that support. So that's an extra influx from children to senior citizens' homes to you name it across the board of additional dollars that are coming and potentially are not hitting the actual budget for the county.
So I'm quickly going to touch on this is the other piece that is obviously a direct impact on what we're here to discuss today. And that's the expiring ticket fee agreement that expired this year that we've had with you all for quite some time. It's an agreement between both the Coffee County and AC Entertainment, whereby we've been paying a $30,000 plus a $3 per ticket sold fee that is now expired. And what our view of this is, and what we talk about sort of the future that Jeff's going to talk to you about here in a second, it's been stagnant. I mean, and I think that the year 2016 really kind of highlighted that both the collections to Coffee County on taxes were very low, and in addition, this $3 fee only generated about $150,000 that year. In a good year, that generated about $250,000 to y'all's budget. What we would suggest is that is, in a sense, it just rises and falls with the success of Bonnaroo this year, and is not really being put to work in any way that helps us all grow together, so that we can focus on the big pots of money that we can hopefully grow together, and that's what we're going to talk to you about today.
Future. How are we going to get there? We're continuing to fan experience, and even as this was being created before we came to talk today, approximately $2 million is going to be put into the site before the festival 2018. So this is new construction, this is new pieces. Some stuff will be felt in terms of barns and other experiences as we develop and promote camping, as we are a camping festival, and making that really the cornerstone of what we have to offer out there, instead of being a negative word of not staying in a hotel, but being a positive attraction of camping on site. Because it's one of those things that a lot of Lollapalooza, Coachella, they can't compare with. They're not there. They have to leave. Our experience continues. So in an experience economy, what's the benefit? You've now got an experience that doesn't stop and it keeps going. So our commitment to that, down to the smaller things, the things that you may not notice when walking around, but better grass, something that's more resilient. So post-festival, it bounces back with the ability to do more events, more lighting, making it safer out there, making it easier to see as you're making it back to your campsite. Improving of some of our interior roads, making it easier for our vehicles to get around and people to walk around. Those types of things that, they're not sexy. I mean, one would probably say the bathrooms aren't sexy, but they're a necessary piece of infrastructure that helps to raise the experience. So just for 2018 alone, and this is outside of what has already been committed for the ARC grant that is going for the water lines, we're looking at an additional $2 million to be put into the property for upgrades so we can continue our fan experience. Outside park, can't do without you. is my plea, I need you. I need the support of Coffee County. Bonnaroo and its success, Great State Park and its success needs the support of Coffee County. As you saw by the numbers, we rise and fall together. I think it's time we take it to the next level and really form a true partnership so we can all benefit. How are we going to get there?
So how are we going to get there? So we talked about briefly the expiring ticket tax. I promised to bring it back up. So what we've been doing a lot of discussion around at the Budget and Finance Committee is creating a, what I would say, call a dedicated funding stream that is paid for by our guests so that it doesn't come out of the pockets of the citizens of Coffee County. And that funding stream is used to bring additional resources into the county that can help 100% pay for infrastructure upgrades that help us all grow together, right? With the goal on being growing the tax base. These tax revenues would be reserved for infrastructure outside of the park. And again, as Jeff said, we can fix the inside, but we can't address the outside unless we partner with you all. And so what we would excuse me, let me advance this on over so you can see what we're talking about. So we're talking about extending the ticket tax that we have had an agreement with you all for some time now to all events at Great State Park. It currently only applies to Bonnaroo. We would also raise it $1 on the high end of tickets and scale it down accordingly, $1 each time for lower events, lower dollar events. And again, you know, with a lot of what we've been discussing is about a project, and our first priority, which you've likely read about or heard about or I've talked to you about, and that's the expansion of New Bushy Branch Road from 2 lanes to 3 lanes. And again, by partnering with you all and our revenue stream that we'll create with our business and partner with TDOT, we believe that we can tap into, we're quite positive we can tap into a lot of outside money brings to the county. The road project is pretty crucial. And Jeff, I don't know, you've been watching this for years. We had TDOT out there looking at it this year, and they flew up in a helicopter to see the problems that we've had. But I mean, the large majority of our visitors and guests, that's their first experience with the festival, being stuck on Bushy Branch Road. And so, and it's a very narrow, small, 2-lane road with what I would say is sort of a dangerous bridge on it. And so expansion of that road from 2 lanes to 3 is our priority.
It's a public safety measure. We all know that we've done, I think taken some extreme measures over the course of the years to alleviate the traffic situation, because we know that is essentially probably the biggest nuance to the general patrons, not just general patrons in the festival grounds, but the citizens, traffic. I need to get to work. I want to get home. It's disturbing. With the addition of our I-24 exit and entrance onto the site, we're the only festival in North America that has a direct on-ramp and off-ramp coming off of that entrance. But it's unsafe. It is one of those things, we're taking people from almost a dead stop and putting them directly onto the highway. And luckily we're working with Highway Patrol and making sure that it's the safest human possible. But with our main road, our main artery going into the festival for patrons of Ragsdale to New Bushy onward, we are looking at a way to make it safer. Currently on the load end, we shut it down. It's one way. And needing to get EMS and the things in the places, we have back roads and ways to get there, but wouldn't it be better if we had an additional way? As we start to do more events, if we cannot open up I-24, we can make it so that we go directly onto the property using our back entrances or our front entrances, depending on the size of what that event may be. It's for public safety. And our goal is to make it to where you're going to have one of the best roads in the county leading into one of our, making it so the entranceway coming in is something we all can be proud of and help make a better experience for all patrons and all residents within.
So we'll quickly wrap up here. I've also included an image in the materials of the scope of the project. Again, I can follow with y'all individually with detailed answers to questions. just to reiterate how we're going to get this done, nothing changes at all about our relationship, other than more, what we hope is more events and infrastructure upgrades. We are still going to support all of the county and city resources, that's fire, police, public safety. I think our record there has been very strong for 16 plus years. And again, our hope is that we have increased sales revenues, more events. We're still committed to all of our programs, we have multipliers on those as we have more events. But really, this is about bringing in outside money and not taxing the citizens of Coffee County in any way or putting a burden on them in any way to get these things done so that we can all grow together. What we're going to do tonight is a simple letter to TDOT that will ask that we be considered for a grant of a match of up to $2 million on this road project. We've been in meetings, multiple meetings with TDOT, and they've indicated that they're very, very supportive of this, but it's a sort of a necessary step that we take this letter, and it has to be memorialized by you all by a resolution. And we should get that turned around pretty quickly, and then we'll know exactly how much money they're going to commit. We're also getting the city to write a similar letter on the bridge. The bridge is on Bushy Branch, it actually sits within the city. So they're also going to be able to get a significant amount of matching funds through a separate program through the city that we'll also support them on. And then over the next 2 months, we'll have Scott St. John, our engineer, finalizing the plans for what that road looks like, so we can come back to you all in January, we hope, with here is an agreement on a ticket tax, and here is a bond deal that we have gotten, X millions of dollars committed from TDOT. The county's portion is going to be what we believe to be no more than about $2.5 million. And that will be 100% paid by our guests, by the ticket tax that we will continue to agree to. And any shortfalls will be guaranteed by us, so that there will never be any exposure at all to the county. And the county gets a road and what we would consider to be a world-class, large-scale outdoor event site that can host multiple events a year and again, grow together. So that was a long way of saying we appreciate your support, continued support, and we'll get the letter done tonight. We'll get that approved. Again, no commitments on our end. Our next step, but this is allowing TDOT to agree to bring that money to the table. With that, we'll take the question.
Sam, I'll make a comment first, just to make sure people understand that from the county side, we are making commitments ahead of time. The ambulance authority last year approved the purchase of a four-wheel drive ambulance, expecting that we're going to have more events. And this year, for our replacement ambulance, we're buying another four-wheel drive ambulance. They do have higher operating costs and some other things to go with them, but you're going to have more events. It's the only way we can safely get in and out. I know even this last year was pretty dry. One of the ambulances got stuck out there, and we had to get them pulled out. So we are working to try to plan ahead and be ready for that eventuality.
We appreciate that. There's certainly no question in the county's commitment to us. And we're here to give our appreciation and look forward to, again, another renewing of our long-term commitment together.
Margaret? I would just like to ask, when you met with the residents last night, you mentioned different faces. What are those faces?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I didn't want to drill too much down into the details, but one of the things that we are looking at is the most crucial phase. And if we go back, it's not real easy to see on this map because it's small, but the length of this project goes all the way from essentially where I-24 and 55 meet off of Ragsdale all the way down Bushy Branch to Shed. what I would say was more likely than not to do is to do this as a phase 1 project, and what we will come back to you is a phase 1, phase 2 project. We'll come back to you as with that in January, what we've decided. It's all really dependent upon budgets, and what TDOT is going to do. There's been a lot of discussion on the budget last year. We don't want to agree to a bond that's longer than a 10-year period if this ticket tax can pay off. And so in order to do that within the right amount of budget, we will probably need to do this as a phase 1, phase 2 project, again with TDOT's partnership. The phase 1, Commissioner, would go from 55 to our first entrance.
What we call it East Bushy Branch, oh, I'm sorry, West Bushy Branch.
Yeah, to get the bridge to get in.
That's correct.
Yes.
That would be part of the phase 1 project. And again, this is not known until really, we get some engineering work and stuff come back to get estimates. But I think as we all know, with construction projects, we need more detail and more guarantees to say that it's going to be X. And then, of course, our conversation with you guys. So if it needs to be phased out, that is an option to look at. I think if it were our choice, we wouldn't phase it out. It would be one solid project. Ideally, construction and groundbreaking starting after the festival this year and complete before festival 2019. But we would have to have some assurances on the construction side of things that we think that we didn't have that open and ready for 2019. We have some challenges.
Jeff, do you have to have this in to do the smaller kind of programs that you're looking at? I mean, they're not going to be 3-day events. They're going to be a Saturday night or something, I would imagine.
I'd say you're correct in terms of other events that we're looking at for the property, and whether they're staged by us or an outside partner that's coming in, just like Fairgrounds or any other property where someone can use. It varies. The likelihood of an 80,000 camping or 80,000 person camping festival, I'll be honest, that's pretty slim. I wouldn't say never, but it is slim. And how we're seeing the festival scene develop is a challenge. And I can attest from our side on the AC Entertainment side of things, we're cracking the code right now on how to produce 10 to 15,000 person event and make those successful. Economics, talent costs, infrastructure, all of those things produce risk. And it is a difficult time right now in the festival industry because there is so much competition. So everything we can do to mitigate that risk and lower some of those infrastructure costs makes it more attractive to bring over this property. That's been our probably number one Achilles heel in terms of the actual, festival ground itself. Beautiful grounds, you have to bring everything out. We've got, over the years, we've had power, more roads, we now have water, we have bathrooms. These are all things that are becoming features where now we are starting to become on the radar for other events because they say, okay, now I don't have to bring so many tournaments out here because of bathrooms. Now I don't have to do this because we have that. And those are key things. And honestly, one of the, a very key thing is access to and from the property and being able to make it safe and do it fast and effectively. Because if you can't, then we're tapping county police, tapping the city police, or potentially tapping state highway patrol, and that takes the cost back.
When you're looking at this for the smaller events, again, I'm presuming that that's not an instantaneous kind of thing. So if we had everything in line tonight, and we were going to start construction after the festival and everything is worked out, you're what, 2 years out, 18 months out at least before you start bringing in additional events, or is it sooner?
It could be sooner than that. Definitely sooner than that. I mean, I think we have options and ways of being able to figure out, problems or solutions to those types of problems. And I look forward to having the opportunity to try to figure out solutions to those problems. It's one of those things that we have an opportunity that works. Figure it out. There's an opportunity there. It's one thing I can say our team is excellent doing is finding a solution.
Has this been brought to Fort City, Manchester, since they actually, probably phase 1 would be inside city limits of Manchester? Have they said it?
Yeah, so it's partially, they're absolutely aware of what we're doing. I met with them last week and we talked to them, because they have to apply for the bridge portion, for the bridge is 100% inside the county. What this letter is asking today is to looking at the entire stretch. And what I was told by leadership at TDOT last week is that the road will be looked at as a whole to see whether it qualifies for the Interstate Connector program. But the rear end of the interstate connection, so to speak, or the south end of that road, could be taken out once we actually agree on what we're going to construct, but it won't change whether or not TDOT still brings the money to the table. This is more about qualifying that stretch of road in its entirety for the Interstate Connector program, and then we will work closely with TDOT to decide, again, making sure that it's comfortable within the budgets that we're talking about and the revenues that we have to pay for it, that it's doable.
Sam, Manchester has approved this, or are approving a similar letter, and they're supporting the grant for the bridge, right?
Yeah, well, they have the letter in their possession, because I've just got the bridge inspection report with the triple piece that I needed. Wrote it today, shared it with the mayor today, and I haven't been on the email, so I don't know exactly what the status is. But yes, they're driving that letter.
This aids the crumbling infrastructure of that bridge. That bridge is in dire development. This is an extra piece to make that bridge, which is something obviously that
Sorry. Two questions. So if you do 3 lanes there, is your intention to have 2 lanes of your highest traffic coming in and one still where you could go the other way? Or would all 3 lanes be going in, all 3 going out when they're at?
two in, 1 out. So being able to have a true access panel instead of completely blocking it one way, you would have the ability to go out. The other side of that is currently, as many of you know, we shut down essentially what's called from Powers to Shed to local traffic only. When I say local traffic, it's those that live in the physical houses or guests of those houses. Is looking at the ability to open that up, maybe still restrict it in a way or keep it low. But if we have the ability to get people off of the road and not be physically walking up New Bushy Branch in any form at any point in time, that is better for safety. I mean, anything we can do to get people off of county roads or city roads is something that is vital and very important to us because we need to have a safety. And we know, we've done great with law enforcement to be able to control that, but even having just our vehicles or resident vehicles on that stretch of road, we've got that concentration of people walking up and down the road, it's nuts.
And one other question. So is your intent, if you built this road, that you would just close the exit that now, that you have that temporarily comes off of 24?
For Bonnaroo, no. It would still need to be open. That is a major artery for us to get people into the site as fast as we possibly. If you've noticed over the years, though, the time frame in which that gate is open has been truncated. So our goal is obviously, and we know based on ticket sales, what's eventually going to happen and when people are starting to come into town. But that is, we do almost probably as much traffic through that one portal than we do through our main entrance. But we do it in such a very short time frame, and typically that happens overnight. So a lot of times whenever it's hopefully sleeping, we're moving all that traffic in. For Bonnaroo specifically, yes, it would still need to remain open, but hopefully we can move even more traffic away from using that. The goal would be any future events, we don't even look at that as an option. That's another primary goal.
And if you widen, I'm sorry, if you widen the road, do you know which side would be utilized more in that widening?
I mean, that's hard. Yeah, I mean, that's part of what Scott's going to be coming back with on us, but I mean, let's be honest here. It's going to be advantageous for us to use property that we already own. Instead of potentially going the right of ways or having to have an agreement with, an alternative landowner or resident saying, on their property. So if we can utilize ours, that's part of it. Another side of it too, that you can think about is, and this has been something we discussed discuss on the road side, that's curve. New grant, that's dangerous curve. Can we change that? And do we have the ability to change that and make it safer? And the fact that we own the property on the other side of that, I think there is an opportunity there while we're making, adjustments. And we, I don't want to say completely straighten it out, but can we make it to where it works? And I think there's an opportunity there to, again, improve the quality of the buildings.
I think it's pretty obvious that to do this widening project and make the third lane is going to be a big asset to the flood. I think at this time it's good for us to recognize also that the cooperation with people at the Monroe organization and our local law enforcement, when you look at the change and the effect on traffic in the city while Monroe is here, the change that has occurred from when they started about 21 years ago and now is unbelievably different. And that is a result of some good cooperation and some very active law enforcement, and they need to be recognized.
Sir, absolutely. I think now it's moving more to an advertising side. That's gone. All businesses are open. I mean, get in there and start shopping. In fact, a lot of it's, obviously you've got more mobility than you normally do during the weekend because of that period. That's not, you couldn't do it without a full cooperation from all law enforcement. Who was the question?
Two primary fiscal components of this, of course, is the county relinquishing the $3 ticket fee, which would contribute, approximately 2.5 cents into the general fund as far as the county to use to save of that. And the other component is the bonding side of this. General obligation, revenue bonds, the partnership we would have in that respect.
Yes, sir. So I think to the first point, that you're correct. What we're asking is that we redirect that tax to something that is, sort of less a one-off that rises and falls with the success of Bonnaroo, and something that's actually put back as an investment in the communities that help us all grow together. That's exactly right. And what we're suggesting is the exercise that we've been through together to look at the numbers and the true economic impact is that even a better Bonnaroo year eclipses that what is essentially a relatively small payment. The addition of one event eclipses that. The addition of 2 events, forget about it. So while that is an immediate concern, and rightly so, it's also, we would say, sort of an unusual arrangement for festivals such as ours, and quite frankly, on businesses such as ours, that we're the only business in the county that is taxed at a specialty tax for that's on top of every other thing that we pay, property, sales, fees, that we then have this additional burden on our business and our customers. And so I think, we're willing to extend that, but we want to do it in a way that works better for all of us. To the second point, actually, the bonding is going to be something we have to work our way through. And you're right, there's a lot of specifics to it. We've had some meetings initially with the bond attorney for the county, attorney out of Nashville, who I met with 2 weeks ago, with the Tennessee Municipal Bond Fund. There's another entity that we could consider. But I think that there's some flexibility there. What we're going to want to be able to do with that is obviously pay back more quickly. That's something that's been expressed by the members of Budget Finance. So we'll need to make sure that it's a bond that's flexible for that, one that we can also guarantee on our side. I'm pretty confident based upon early meetings that it would likely be a relatively painless process to get that bond issued. It wouldn't be for a lot of money either. We're talking probably about, I'd say, a lot of money, relatively speaking, for a bond. A $2.5 million bond is not a very big one.
Would you tend to do it through a GO bond or a revenue bond?
The county attorney suggested, so particularly I'm not an expert, the county attorney on this suggested that it could be either, but obviously a revenue bond is sort of the big bucket, In order for it to be a GO bond, it has to qualify for certain terms, and this one will qualify for any term, given the nature of the project.
Yeah, I guess my primary concern would be to the taxpayers of the county. The GO bond, we're putting taxpayers at risk on it, to guarantee it.
That's right.
Revenue bond, we're counting on the revenue stream from the monies produced by the event. And as far as guarantees, I don't know how far in the future that could be guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking essentially about a 10-year term. You know, I think there are. I feel pretty confident that we'll be able to get you comfortable, Commissioner, with the guarantees that we will provide to make sure that this does not in any way expose the citizens of Coffee County.
There are performance bonding capabilities that would allow a guaranteed backup that would be paid available should there be a shortfall. I think there's ways to work that out.
I feel pretty confident on this. But again, we'll make sure that you are comfortable with that before we have any official vote.
Mr. Mayor, have we have a motion to approve?
No, not yet.
First of all, I'd like to make a motion to approve the TDOT study for this connector road. And certainly let the commissioners know that over the next 2 months, all the financing, all the details are going to be worked out. So hopefully we can bring a good proposal to this commission on January 9th. So before we get into the weeds tonight, I think.
I would second that.
No questions on the floor?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, is there going to be any public comment on this before the vote, or is that coming at the end? I'm looking at the agenda, it looks like all the public comments are coming at the end, but I do have some things I'd like, and I don't know exactly what you guys are voting on tonight as far as how to move the process further, or what you're committing to as far as county taxpayers' dollars, but I do have several comments I'd like to make. This might not be the appropriate meeting, but I do have a lot of comments I would like to make concerning the Bonnaroo contract renewal, road extension in general. So if it's appropriate for me to do that tonight, I'll do that. If it's not, I'll be glad to wait until the next meeting, whenever that is.
Yeah, I'd ask you to delay those comments to the end, but tonight, we're not committing any dollars tonight for the taxpayers at all.
Okay.
We're just going through the study on this, but the motion that Commissioner Bricken made was simply to authorize a letter going forward to TDOT for them to study this and get back with us.
Thank you, sir.
And then through the next 2 months, as Mr. Bricken said, there'll be a lot of research and study on this, and you're welcome to come to any of the Budget and Finance Committee meetings we have, and certainly to our commission meetings.
Okay, would it be appropriate at the public comment time tonight, or should I come to meetings in the future?
I think as we go forward, it's probably more appropriate, maybe as you have any specific questions, to come to Budget and Finance, to those meetings, you're welcome to do that. And then, but tonight, the resolution here tonight is not committing any dollars on the part of our taxpayers.
Okay.
And I appreciate your concern, and you will certainly have adequate time at the appropriate time to ask all the questions you want to.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sure.
As far as the widening of the road, do you have the people in the area support? I know I've had some concerns where they're wondering how it'll affect their property.
Absolutely. So that's a primary concern. So when I met with the engineering team a few weeks ago, I said, look, one of the things we really want to accomplish here is to get a real hard dollar figure as to what this is going to cost. And the second biggest thing, obviously for you all here at the commission, for TDOT, second biggest thing is we need to really understand at each individual property owners the potential impact, if any, to their property. We met with I think almost every resident along that road last night. It was a full room. Yeah, and again, we're not in a position to say to any one of them individually right now, here's how this is going to affect your property until we get those engineering plans back. But they all now have my cell phone number, Jeff's phone number. They're going to be on the lookout for engineers that are out there, and they're well aware of what it is that we're wanting to accomplish. And I must say, I was very pleased with the reaction of the group, and didn't hear a lot of questions, obviously, but no one expressed opposition. In fact, we heard, I would say, quite the opposite. I think it would be fair to say that most of them thought that it was a very good idea. I think for the additional lane, we'll enable them to come and go much easier during the times.
So this is just how it will affect.
Not even how it will affect it. This is allowing you to take the step to figure out how it will. So I guess it's even a step before that. Our meeting last night was what the folks noted. This is what our process is going to be. This is what we are looking at moving forward. But no, without support, if it comes back that, the gentleman's going to say, we don't want this to happen. There's another discussion. It's not something we're trying to force through by any means. It is just something that's a realistic opportunity, both from funding, from outside funding from TI and others, to take advantage of a public-private partnership in order for us to make improvements, to the infrastructure in Mohawk County. But that will be later on, and I fully intend on having conversations with each and every resident to ensure that they have all the right information to make informed decisions.
And I've talked to a few that are very concerned about how it will affect their property, depending on how the road is lined.
Completely, and I would have it as a property owner, I would have the same exact concern at this point in time, until we get to the point we can have that study done.
So this is just an initial study.
This is just the initial study.
This is step one.
There may be options, there's two sides of the road, there's some right of way in some areas. So our goal is to minimize the impact, obviously.
Would this include going underground with a lot of utilities?
Utilities are a part of this budgeting. And in fact, we've had conversations with Elk River and cable folks and with gas folks, and they've all submitted their drawings, and that's all part of the calculus as to what this will cost.
Thank you.
Any other comments? So tonight we have a motion by Commissioner Brickens, second by I think Mark Kelly, regarding just proceeding with a letter, this resolution authorizing the letter to be sent to TDOT so they can just come and study this and see what they bring to the table. Any further discussion? On part of the commissioners? From the commission body? There being none, then let's vote, please. And we've got to work his magic here for a moment. But this letter is just merely step one. We've got a lot of discussion to follow after this. See what the state comes back with.
Anyone want to change their vote?
Thank you. Jeff, thank you, Sam, for coming tonight. And,
Any other new business? Reports of standing committees. Budget finance.
Budget and Finance, next meeting will be December 5th, then December 19th, and then January 2nd. And certainly, I know I haven't talked to the bottom of the folks on which meetings they will attend. I feel certain they'll be there on the January 2nd, but I hope they'll be there on the December 5th or the 19th, because we can break this up into work sessions and discuss different pieces of it, move it along. So we'll get back with you. So for the gentleman, if you'll call the mayor's office and find before those meeting dates, if Conrad's there, certainly plan on attending.
Would it be appropriate just to make general comments at the public end of the
You
discussion?
certainly can.
you certainly can.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
I think I'll just do that. Thank you.
Okay. And December 5 and 19, I believe, is Commissioner Briggs said will be the budget finance dates, but just call our office to see if Monroe's on the schedule for either of those nights, and then in January, whatever.
Well, Roxanne, she's not very helpful. You know, when you call up to your office, she's not very good help, so, but I'll try.
Legislative meeting.
No report.
Health, welfare, and recreation.
We will meet this month, but I have one other little thing if I may mention. I just want to commend some middle school students in Tullahoma East Middle School for putting on a food drive for Thanksgiving, and they partnered with some of the churches in Tullahoma and they raised over 2,400 pounds of food. And my church was one of the ones that put together food baskets, and I just wanted to publicly commend those. Great bunch of students and the faculty that worked with them. So that's just it. My kudos to them.
Capital outlay.
The roof for the Tullahoma Library has begun.
Law enforcement.
No report, we meet in December 14th, next month.
Personnel and compensation.
No report.
I'd like to tell commissioners that our employee Christmas lunch will be December 19th, the conference center, 11 to 2. Number 11, statements and announcements from commission.
Yes, I'd like to publicly thank the city and county schools that put on the Veterans Day programs. They were fantastic. And a fellow veteran, of course, myself, and Mr. Orr, and anybody else in this room that served, it's a big thank you.
Tullahoma last Friday had an outstanding program, and basically Commander Colonel Kane came and gave a good presentation. Saturday was really impressive here on the square. So thanks to all of our veterans and to the schools that helped participate.
12, public comments.
Now the sheriff will recognize Johnny back.
1 minute.
I'll give you- John, I'll give you about 3 minutes to start with, and then you can come.
I'll do the best I can. I'll just tell you, I'm a terrible public speaker. I don't like doing this, but I'll be as fast as I can be. And this is about a general, the bonders contract in general, not about the road expansion that you guys were talking about tonight. And a couple things I want to talk about. First thing is, and it's not belittling, but I don't know how many people on the commission know what EBITDA is. But it's earnings before interest, taxes, and depreciation. And it's a true cash flow of a business. And so when you sell to a publicly traded company, they look at your EBITDA, that's what they call it. And they generally pay 3 to 6%, depending on how good that business is, of those earnings for a particular company. Bonnaroo sold 51% of just the Bonnaroo Festival for $125 million. So based on EBITDA earnings at 6%, that means that they net $40+ million a year just on that festival. So I wanted to point that out to the commission, just in general. Live Nation, to acquire them, a $10 billion company. I've done a lot of studies on all their festivals, and all their festivals pay amusement fees, amusement taxes. There are a variety of taxes that they pay on different percentages of different things. All of them are higher than basically 1%, which is what the $3 ticket is, or, you know, if it's too high, I don't know, it might be 1.5%. So I've always felt like Bonnaroo, they were really good negotiators in the past, and they negotiated really good deals. And they've been really good to our community. They have put a lot of money in our community, but I don't feel like we've ever received our fair share for what we do. So if you look at the 16 years that they've been here, you look at the money that we've received, you know, we've probably received $15 million in direct tax benefits versus $500 million that they've made in profit. And I don't think those numbers add up. I don't think that's fair to the county taxpayers, city county taxpayers, anybody. Now, one of the gentlemen, and I'd be glad to speak with them, was talking about doing $2 million worth of improvements out there on that property. And he said, we pay property tax. And they do pay property tax. They pay property tax as a farm in the Greenbelt. And even though that property was purchased for close to $10 million, they pay less than $20,000 a year in property tax. You look at companies like MTech, baseball, people that have full-time employees here, several hundred, they pay $250,000, $350,000, $400,000 a year in property tax. Plus they have 500 employees. You take baseball, they're not selling caskets just in Coffee County. I mean, they're selling them all over the nation. That money's coming from outside and comes in and pumped in to our economy. So I've always felt like that, especially on the property tax side, they skate by being categorized as a farm. And I understand that there's a festival there 4 days a week or 4 days a month. I get it. They got streets, their names, they got water lines, they've got septic systems, they've got fences around their farms. And I know a lot of really rich farmers around here, and none of those people have it. So I always felt like they skated by on that property tax value. I'm not saying it's illegal. I'm not saying they've done anything that they shouldn't do. Again, they're businessmen. They're really smart businessmen. And so I always felt like that they were able to come in and take advantage of a system that we were just grateful for what we were getting rather than looking for the full value of what we offered as a county. You go to a Tennessee football game, I'm a UT fan, been tough this year. But you know, the city of Knoxville, they have a 5% tax. They have 5% amusement tax. If I go to a Tennessee football game, I pay a 5% tax on that ticket, and that's a public institution. And so it's hard for me to see how a private company that's making $40 million a year, that based on their EBITDA value just that one festival at $250 million, needs any assistance from us as county taxpayers for infrastructure needs. I've been here since then. And so I've always heard that we're gonna have this festival, that festival, this festival, that festival. I've always felt like, and I've always experienced is, they come to you and they say, we have a festival. We're gonna have an 80s rock festival. But in order for that company to sign that contract, we need to commit to $3 million worth of infrastructure improvements. And so we'll do the $3 million, but we got the contract. It's not a what we hope, what we think, what might happen. Widen the road. That road has handled 80,000 people a year approximately for 15 years. That I know of, nobody on Bush and Branch got killed. I haven't seen anything that's happened out there unsafe. Hey, they've done a fantastic job. I remember the first year when it was Itchy before it was Bonnaroo, and they shut this community down. And I've been so proud. Because now, I live out that way, I drive out that way, you don't even know they're in. They're in, they come do their thing, they're gone. But I've never felt like that the people that come here to this community have paid their fair share. I've always felt like we all have a 5% ticket tax. You pay $300, you're gonna pay $3.15. You're paying $15 for a beer while you're out there. I just can't imagine that you're gonna go, oh no, that extra $15 on that $300, I'm just not gonna go this year. So they're charging me a $15 tax. And so I've never felt like the community's been treated fairly. And they're talking, okay, we'll get some people in with 10 or 15,000 people. Okay, I get that. I love it. Bring them. But 15,000 people, we need to widen the road for a road that's been handling 80,000 people for 16 years. That road doesn't do any fight, and it's going to do any fight. It's been there for 16 years, 4 days. It's just 4 days a year. I get it. I live there. I've been through it. I can't blame them. They're good businessmen. These guys are smart. They're coming in. Am I done?
No, I'll give you 3 more minutes.
3 more minutes, okay.
Yeah, get wrapped up. I appreciate your concern, however, folks, I'm sure they want to get home for supper tonight. But I appreciate your concern.
I'm hungry too. They've invested in real property. They owe $10 million. They invest over $10 million out there. Pay $20,000 for the property tax. I'm a real estate investor. I own a piece of property in Tullahoma I pay $300,000 for. It costs me $9,000 a year in property tax. I see a problem with that. Let me get down the list. The $1.3 million water line, $650,000 of that paid by taxpayers. I don't understand that. You got a festival making $40 million a year, yeah, but we can only afford to spend $650 for this new water line. Well, you go out there and take a shower, and it's $10 for 5 minutes. I don't know what it is. I've never been. But it's ridiculous. And those people, again, if you're going to pay $10 for a 5-minute shower, you'll pay $15 for a ticket tax. I would challenge these guys that work for Live Nation to bring to you all their festivals that they have. And what are the fees and what are the taxes that these people are paying all over this country? And this has been the most successful in the world. What are they paying everywhere else? They need to bring that to you guys as commissioners and you, Mr. Mayor, so they need to say, hey, we don't pay nothing anywhere else, so why should we pay anything here? But I'll guarantee you they can't do that. So they pay huge percentages, 5%, 10%. There's huge amusement fees. They go in, we got a gift. Barbara's a gift to this community. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, we need to quit taking the scraps off the table and actually turn it into the profit center that it is for the taxpayers. And we need a festival out there once a month. I'd love to see one out there once a month. The infrastructure's here, everything's there. Let's see.
1 minute, John.
Thank you.
I'm done.
My name's John Constantine, my number's 931-581-1388. I live at 456 Hickory Drive, Manchester, Tennessee. If you have any questions you want to know, please call me. I can back up everything that I've said. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you, John. And you made a pretty good presentation for a person that doesn't like to speak.
I hate to talk, I forgot my sun drop, I gotta get my sun drop.
Yeah, get your sun drop. Let's do that. But you'll have an opportunity to talk about finance and some of our meetings later on. So, anyway, any other public comments? If not, stand adjourned.